I trust you haven't been triggered by the title of this next video. It's one that has been bubbling away and probably is still a remnant from 2019. The closer we get to the Rugby World Cup, the more evidence we're receiving that this Irish team may be a different facsimile. However, I am still holding on to what I believe is a reasonably significant argument for why Ireland will not win the Rugby World Cup in France in 2023. Give me some time, I will state my case. I'm not saying that it is impossible or that they cannot win the Rugby World Cup. I do believe they can. I do believe that based on their own record and based on other sides as well, because it's not just about Ireland and what they do, but what the opposition are able to do, that they can. But I do believe, in light of the factors I will share, that they will not win Rugby World Cup 2023. Although I'm recording this, I'm shooting this the morning after, well actually the morning of really, or the afternoon is more historically correct. Ireland taking on England just happened, well, what's the time? Some 10 hours ago, New Zealand time, and the scoreline is an obvious reflection of probably two realities. One, the efficiency of this Irish team, but also the seemingly present placement of the English, who are struggling. Just move my hand across. And so, when I think about Rugby World Cup 2023, I don't think there's a pool I'm looking forward to more than the pool that has Ireland, Scotland and South Africa battling out. Of course there are other sides in that pool. However, given what we've seen from Scotland in 2023, given what we've seen from Ireland for a decent period now, I didn't think that post Joe Schmidt, when Andy Farrell was getting the job, that they would become an even stronger proposition. But I think it's fair to say that this Irish team is better now under Andy Farrell than they were under Joe Schmidt. They're better in 2023 heading into the Rugby World Cup, more ready to be able to win the tournament than they were in 2019, when that quarterfinal result was really crushing for the Emerald Isle, and one that was a bitter pill to swallow. So they're definitely more prepared. However, the reason why I don't think they will win 2023 or they'll win the Rugby World Cup in 2023 is because of certain factors that sort of contextualise with and through John Eales and what he said about the All Blacks and how they struggled to win Rugby World Cups for a time, and trying to explain how the All Blacks can be so dominant through the calendar years and yet at a Rugby World Cup seemingly confound their own form and confound predictions. He pointed out that the All Blacks consistently play at such a high level that the distance between that high level and what they're able to produce in a Rugby World Cup is relatively small, or the space is relatively small, and so their ability to rise is diminished because they've been playing at such a level where other teams don't have that capacity and haven't had that capacity. So they're playing at this lower level throughout that period, and when they rise at a Rugby World Cup, not only are they a different team to the previous maybe 3 years, but they also have more capacity to rise. And I still have that sneaking suspicion that's true of this Irish team. I don't think there's a team in world rugby that plays like a machine as much as Ireland has through this period. They have been a side that can seemingly lose a player and bring another player in and not miss a beat or not skip a beat. If I have seen another rugby unit that has most closely resembled the Crusaders recently, yes, they're at a different level, but it would be the Irish rugby team. One thing about the Crusaders is that if they lost players, then those who fitted in would do the job. And it seems like this Irish team have such clarity, have such an intimate knowledge about how they play, that they're able to know that this is where and this is what they must do and nothing more, nothing less, and they're able to fulfill their role, and everyone's fulfilling their part, and it works so well together that it's symphonic, you could say, in terms of some of their work. However, I also think they're getting the most out of their talent. Like, you could even say the way they've played has exceeded their talent's individual capacity. That's not meant to sound patronising or rude, but it is to affirm that. Let's just take the example of the New Zealanders, those who have come out of New Zealand and have moved on because the doors to higher honours were closed, and some of them pretty evidently even into maybe even the Super Rugby level, and they've taken the opportunity and made the most. Now, of course, we don't need to name names there. However, the fact that they've become staples in the Irish rugby team when they were clearly not in an All Blacks worldview, even as they were, I think you probably could say that there were consistent spots in Super Rugby, as I now reflect on what I previously affirmed, then you can say that it highlights the point about what the Irish system has done and what it allows, what it provides, what it brings out of its personnel. And so I still, in light of that, believe that because they've been working at such an optimum range, when it gets into the Rugby World Cup, when teams like the All Blacks, who have clearly risen in terms of their capacity, in terms of their clarity, in terms of their play, we've talked about that, and France, I think France's upside, the benefits of playing at home, and the accumulation of talent that they've acquired and developed, even with Romana Ntamack out, then I think a France and All Blacks sides have more weaponry than an Irish side, and therefore, because each will rise in this tournament and have risen recently, some even more so with the All Blacks, on a pretty steep rise, then when push comes to shove, even the potential for Ireland, with their pool means there are no guarantees. And so, whilst I'm not trying to be provocative about this Irish side and to denigrate all that they could offer, because I do think they can win it, I just don't think, in light of these other factors, that they will win it. But who knows? This video could be a memorial to my own downfall. But you've got to call it as you see it. And so I'm calling it about a little under 3 weeks. 2 weeks and 6 days, you could say. Or, yeah, around about that. 2 weeks, 5 to 6 days before the tournament kicks off with that first mouth-watering clash with the All Blacks in France. So, Ireland can win the Rugby World Cup, but I don't believe Ireland will win the Rugby World Cup in France 2023. I believe it will be one of two other sides probably, and maybe I'll get to that in another video instead of extending this. But what do you think? Again, we encourage you to like and comment and share. And if you haven't subscribed, then please do subscribe, and then leave a comment in the competition post that you should be able to find on this channel, and that can will mean you'll be part of a draw that is to come for a rugby jersey of your choice. But what do you think? Can Ireland win this Rugby World Cup? And I think everyone should be able to say that. I think that's perfectly reasonable, but will they? What do you think? And what do you think about my argument that they're working at such a high capacity? Their ability to rise, their ability, or the amount that they're in front in a world context is not the same as the other teams or other nations' ability to rise in this tournament. And so that's what I think. I think Ireland will fall short. And if that's the case, obviously there'll be a lot of disappointed supporters in another period of Irish rugby. But I think they can take a lot of pride in their team in terms of what the 4 proud provinces of Ireland have done over the recent 4 to 6 years. It has been another step forward, and I look forward to watching them play. And if they do, and they're able to pull it out, then they will have, I think it's fair to say, they probably will have deserved it. No matter what could potentially happen in the various machinations or the various activities, even with some of the officiating, if they are able to get through, if they're able to get past South Africa and Scotland in their pool, maybe even they may get the All Blacks in the quarterfinal, then however they accomplish it, if they do get through and win, then it will be a time of crack. The crack will be flowing. I'm sure it'll be a celebration, as maybe only the Irish can, and it will be difficult to begrudge them of that fact, not only because of what it will mean, but because of the warm-spirited people who can find joy even in their defeat. And that is a good lesson for us all in the world of rugby, don't you think? I think so. Anyway, what say you? I am Johnny King. It's been my pleasure talking to you in my special vest. Over and out.